I'm Kristof Van Tomme, and welcome to the API Resilience Podcast. If you've ever wondered what it really is we do when we do APIs, and if you've wondered how APIs change organizations, our communities, and our society, look no further. This is the podcast you've been searching for. Welcome to the API Resilience Podcast. Today is a really special episode because we normally don't do live. We normally don't do any at events like this, but we are here today at the Future of the Future of Software Technologies, formerly known as Apidays, to celebrate a 10-year partnership. And that's very special for me. And I've got two special guests for that to celebrate and to tell the story a bit. I've got Jean Dulau and Julien Rateau, both from the Apigee team at Google Cloud, to talk a little bit about how it all got started, and then also like how it evolved and kind of like what we learned over the last 10 years, and then also maybe look a little bit into the future. But maybe to kick things off, can you just give a short introduction, like who are you, what's your role exactly in Google Cloud, and then maybe we can start with you, Julien.
Thanks a lot for the introduction, Kristof, and a real pleasure to be here with you in this very special moment. I'm afraid it's too early to drink champagne, but maybe we'll do that later. So glad. My name is Julien Rateau. I'm leading the platform business for Google Cloud in EMEA. And hand over to Jean.
So thank you, Kristof, for inviting us to present and discuss about this 10-year partnership. So I'm Jean Dulau. I'm partner manager for the Apigee team. So I'm supporting the best as I can. So Julien's team to engage with partners across EMEA.
So this is really special because I've had long-running partnerships, but the partnership with the Apigee team that started actually at this conference. It was not in this venue, but it was here in Paris in December, 10 years ago. I was wandering around, looking around. Like, it was my first API conference. And I was wandering around, looking around, talking to a couple of people, and I ended up talking to the Apigee team, and and that's how it all started. I don't know, Jean, because you were there, right?
I totally remember, Kristof. You're right. So actually, this conference was pretty small. So we had a single room. So for this conference, so it was the beginning of the API in Europe, I would say. So it was pretty well engaged in North America. This period of time, so we were Apigee, so a company. We were not Google, we were Apigee. So in France, we were 3 people, and I remember when you came with your long barb already, and you came and meet us on the booth, saying, "Hey, I'm an expert on Drupal. I'm an expert on developer portal. I would like to engage on a partnership with the Apigee team. But specifically on this part because it's the facade and it's highly important." So I remember this period of time. Right?
So we started talking. I was one of the sales. Actually, quite a few of the team are still working at Google Cloud, which is also very special. Like this. I think the team that you have, this long-term relationships, people that are really invested in the product, that keep going along with it, with a really good product, I think is really special and unique in the industry. Back then, I remember coming to the booth. Because I was looking for companies that had APIs, because I did not know too much about APIs. We had done one API integration for a video hosting platform that Brightcove. And that was a good partnership. And we had started working with them, and we were maintaining their module in the Drupal community. And I was looking around and asking people like, do you have an API? Do you want a Drupal integration? And like people were like, what the hell are you talking about? But then I come to your booth and turns out you already have a Drupal product. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then we started talking. It's like, oh, actually, we have got a customer and they have got some special requirements for their developer portal that is built in Drupal. And maybe you could help us because we actually don't have people that are Drupal specialists that can help us with this stuff. And I was like listening a little bit more. It's like, is this company into like GPS software? It's like, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Like, I won't say the name because I'm not supposed to, but it turns out that we're both talking to the same company. And then we did a bit together and we then won the deal together. And that was the start, very first project that we did together. And then after a couple of months, we just like, okay, drop everything else. This is a really, really good partnership. This is what we're going to put everything behind. We're becoming developer portal specialists. So, and then very short after that, like 1 year, a little bit more than a year later, Apigee got acquired by Google. And I think that's about the time when you joined, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I joined Google close to 10 years ago, a bit less. So I was the first hired after the acquisition of Apigee within Google Cloud. So it was a fantastic time. Indeed, the rise of APIs, the topic were absolutely hot everywhere. A lot of companies were planning to start a project to expose their services through developer portals. It was as well the beginning of the acceleration of our go-to-market, and this acceleration came with our dear partners. In IT, we never win alone, especially in this field. And with the partnership with Pronovix was just fundamental in our early successes, because the most interesting part for most of our customers across EMEA at that time was to get an amazing image to the developer communities in Europe or even in the world, in order for them to reach the maximum developers that will help to innovate, what we used to call outside-in innovation, where they can integrate services of those customers, of those companies within other customer journeys. So I would like specifically to thank you, Kristof, because you have been fundamental in the success of Apigee over the last 10 years.
So it's funny that you say outside in, because actually yesterday in my talk, I had a slide up with Chet Kapoor, the then CEO of Apigee, because I remember that was the first time, 10 years ago, that I heard people talk about outside in. And I was like reminiscing about it, that like, we still have the exact same problem. That the outside-in problem has not gone away. We still need to solve it. But yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that. I think for me, working. So, I've started realizing this recently, like how special the community is that you've built up, and the.
Sorry, I interrupt.
Yeah, you go.
That we built together, not us only, right? That we built with you and our partners on the market. No, but that's a fundamental point for me, Kristof. I want to mention that because this technology is integrated with so many other technologies. The goal of an API is just to connect systems. And it's exact. So we need the integration end to end to the developer portal up to the backends. So sorry to interrupt, but it is important for me.
If I can add a word, so totally agree with Julien's comment, because so you are a specific partner for us. We have the partnership with system integrator, who can collaborate together, but most of the time they compete. But you are positioned on the, a totally different way, engaging with our customer. And most of the time, so you enter into discussion and agreement to provide what the other integrator cannot provide. You have a deep expertise on that. And it's part of the community approach. So having partners working with partners to provide benefit and value to our customers. So, and this is how we could, engage and build a community. Totally right.
We join myself in the room. You're in a very bad position. We'll start interrupting all the time. Sorry for that, Kristof.
As long as it's not in French.
We can aussi, on peut aussi parler français.
But still, yes, the community, of course, is the members, but I think that what you've been doing at Apigee and then also in extension at Google Cloud is pretty unique. Like where you have local communities, or you have a series of local events across different regions, where you keep bringing customers together with your partners to learn from each other over and over and over again. That is very special. Like I've, looking around what's out there, and you're pretty unique in that, in just the level of the intensity and what that enables. Because I think, especially in communities like APIs or AI today, where everything is changing so fast, it's really important to hear from other people what they're doing and how they're doing things and how things are evolving. And having an opportunity to come together, to meet people, is incredibly valuable. And you're doing that exceptionally well.
And Kristof, so you play the game with us, because when we joined Google, from the Apigee, when we joined Google, you call me and say, "Hey Jean, are we keeping this partnership so engaged?" And I say, "Yes, as long as you play the game with Google as well. You have to join the Google partnership program. You have to join the partner community," and you did it very fast. And you did it, and you improve and continuously increase your talent and your expertise within the Google area. And so it's important now that it's not just an Apigee partnership, but it's a Google partnership as well.
And lately, we've actually been doubling down on that, like to branch out beyond the API management solution, so that we we had a couple of demos at the conference here about app integration and the agent development kits and like how you could build a link between a publishing portal and your internal ecosystem. Yeah. Well, it is building. For me, success is about relationships and building very long-term relationships where you can ask for help, and there's someone who's going to show up and say and help. Like, okay, this is really complex problem. Like, how have you seen other customers do this exact same thing? And I think that's really important. It's a richer way of doing business, I think. That's very important.
And it's a matter as well of engineering, because you engage with us on a sales standpoint, so customer pains and so on, but as well on what's the next step for the product. So I remember that a few years ago when Drupal, stopped, one version, and we had to upgrade our software, and supporting the next version of Drupal, you say, "Hey, I can do it for you guys, I can help you." And you got connected with our engineering team and a deep relationship with our engineering to support the next step of our product. And
So sneak preview for the people that are listening, like we've got something cooking right now for the even further next generation, but more about that later. So and Julien, how was that transition from, because I think you joined when Apigee was still very much a standalone team that was doing its own thing. Also, Apigee is even today is very much like its own brand and a very powerful brand in the API markets. It's probably the market leader, I would say. How was that for, because you saw that transition from standalone brands, maybe some culture changes, becoming better integrated, but that dance between being a fully standalone thing and then also connecting to the other pieces of Google Cloud and so on. Is there a story there that jumps to mind?
Yeah, of course. And there is a couple of elements. The first one is the business of Google is based on APIs. And somehow the way we were managing developer communities were quite unique in the world in certain sense. And our integration, the integration of our services within customer journey is something that we have done from the very beginning. So we trust from the beginning as a company into the power of APIs, into the power of ecosystem, into the power of outside in innovation. So selling Apigee within this company was just a perfect fit, right? It was the best acquisition Google can do in those times. And it was so important for us to integrate extremely well Apigee within the rest of Google, because we can leverage so much back in those days, especially with what we were cooking at Google Cloud. It was as well the beginning of Google Cloud 2017. We started to really accelerate when Thomas Kurian joined us in 2019 with a lot of product developments, with a huge shift in our go-to-market, with a lot of investment, with a lot of hiring, with the willingness to enter into every single countries in Europe, and with the willingness as well to help iconic customers in the world to transform their business through Google Cloud services. So I'll say from 2017 to 2023, we have seen and we embraced this cloud transformation and this cloud acceleration, which is business that has been multiplied with a strong multiplier from 2017 to 2023. Now we are entering since 2023 into a new era in the world and into a new era in Google as well. It's all about AI. And our pitch now is so well established and so well combined with AI needs, specifically with two aspects. The first one, Kristof, is all about AI connectivity. If the customers want to extract the best out of AI, they need to get the data right and they need to get the system open. So what we were mentioning at the beginning of the call regarding opening your services to the external world, now there is a question where it's ultra critical to open your systems internally. The second pillar is AI governance. Every single companies are adopting AI massively. Every single CEO is talking all the time about AI. It's all about how can I get better efficiency, better serve my customers, better develop digital product, and so on and so forth with AI. So the businesses are adopting AI not at the pace of IT. So what happens? What happens in terms of governance? In some cases, there is very low governance, and that's totally understandable because the business pressure is so high, you have to adopt AI. But now we are entering into a new era where it's going to be extremely important to see, especially in agentic AI, which agent is talking to which agent, how many agents are talking to my HR systems, how many agents are talking to my financial systems, how many external agents are talking to my internal systems. Get the data, get the analytics out of that, get root cause analysis if there is agent-to-agent communication that are failing. So somehow it's new technologies with the same challenges that before, these governance challenges. So that's why, and for me, today is a very special day as well because we are announcing the full support of MCP within Apigee, which is just one of the biggest shifts we are doing in our platform to embrace the AI governance world.
And I've seen it teased at a couple of the Apigee summits already, so I knew it was coming. but that's really exciting news, and it also feels like we're in a special moment where, like that lead that OpenAI started with in the ecosystem, in the AI ecosystem, it really feels like Google is right at the front again. Like. There was a little bit like, oh, what's going on here? But yeah, like just the ability, having your own model, also the benchmarks that the new models from Gemini are showing, just the whole complete vision of all the things that you can do. Like this is also where we've been playing ourselves with app integration as like a deterministic bridge between the portal and AI inside of GCP accounts and projects with the agent development kit and agent space. Although we haven't played too much with that yet, but I'm a really big Notebook LM fan, so we use it all the time in the company. So well, like for summarizing meetings and stuff, or like extracting information. Very cool. But yeah, so it really feels like you're again the market leader that is emerging in this space also, and so it's going to be very exciting to see how all of that evolves. I think a couple of years has the focus has been in the API space on internal focus, where like the first days, like as you said, like the outside-in perspective, it was all about external-facing portals where you're exposing your APIs because you're trying to build a business with this, or trying to attract new partners with your interfaces. And then that was early, I feel. Like it was like people wanted to do this because it was APIs, but then the focus shifted more inwards. I know that there's a lot of AI focus also on the inside, but I'm really excited about the external AI focus and like what are like how are we going to enable external parties to consume what we're doing in more and more automated ways. Do you have any crystal ball predictions about that, or any ideas about? Well, I guess the MCP story connects to that, but do you already hear customers talking about something like that, or?
I have a crystal ball, but unfortunately I let it at home, so I don't. I was not prepared for that question, Kristof.
Yeah. I give it a try. Yeah.
What we can see is agentic is definitely the new wave. You know, it will give new capabilities. The fact for machine-to-machine interactions without or with very little human interactions is definitely the future, especially in productivity and customer services. But as well, we are going to see more and more use cases coming. You can almost apply that in every single business, from fraud detections into bank systems to any kind of customer services for telcos, as an example. And we see strong demand, strong acceleration, and strong willingness for customers to innovate. So it's so good to surf on this wave and to be there side to side with them, helping them into this agentic era with the Apigee platform that is providing all this AI governance and AI connectivity behind it.
And so you're speaking about how enterprises are collaborating externally as well, exposing their APIs, their agent, and so on. And this is where we saw a massive attraction from the market coming to Google, coming to Apigee as well, compared to some of the what we name gateway, not API management, but could be gateway, who are just a pass through for internal API calls. And as long as we are exposing externally, we are exposed as well to thread. And it requires a lot of investment in security, which we are doing. So we are improving constantly our software around security. And we have specific as well, a feature for that. And we are leveraging all the innovation, all the knowledge from Google Cloud about security thread and how to face to this situation.
And it's you also have like the A2A protocol, the AP2 protocol, and there's a whole lot of innovation happening to also, to first and all make sure that it's safe, but then also to enable the new mechanisms for doing things, where MCP lives next to some of these other protocols that we'll see like evolving and growing in the future. Yeah, my crystal ball says that companies really need to adopt again, big time. And personally, I think that some of the biggest changes are going to be on the economic fabric that we are all part of, and how that is being transformed by by LLMs, simply because you can just ask, like, you know, can you tell me, like for example in banking, like, you know, can you tell me how much money is there on my bank account? And then instead of having to remember, like, oh, I need to like log in or I need to go there, that it just is able to answer you. And that's a very trite example, but like more complex things like, oh, I want to buy a car. Like, can I get a loan, or how does that work? And I think these areas, there's again a really interesting new possibility, I think, for exposing what you have on the inside to the outside, and then driving business beyond just cost savings. Cost savings, that's what a lot of people are focusing on right now, but that's not what changes business. It's the transformation of how we do business together. Yeah. So how? What are your plans for? Like, it's almost the end of the year. So, what are your plans for like for next year? Like, do you already know when the next Apigee Summit is going to be, or Apigee Horizon? Was it this year? Is it going to be Apigee Horizon again next year, or what are the plans for like here specifically in Paris?
So we always plan to accelerate. We plan to accelerate for next year. Obviously, we will continue our own events. I don't know yet about the name. Maybe you will have a renaming, just teasing you there. But definitely that's the plan of acceleration for next year. I value a lot our partnership with Pronovix, and I'm looking forward as well to have you as a sponsor in our event next year in Paris. But more importantly, rendezvous in 10 years from now here to celebrate the 20 years of partnership. That will be awesome.
Yes, let's work towards that. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and then and well, we'll keep doing what we're doing, specializing in being a partner not only for you but also for your partners, and driving forward what we can bring together for our customers, well, and it's always good to hear the stories of like, actually. We had a customer yesterday that was doing a presentation about, but it's not they're not in API, so it's more other kinds of developer portals. But they were telling a story about how they've transitioned from like lots and lots of different types of documentation to a Markdown-based format. So these kind of customer stories, that's really good, and it's great that you provide forums to bring those stories together. Yeah. I think we can wrap it up here. I'd like to thank both of you again very, very much for this episode, this special episode, but also for the partnership, and for a very, very good relations that are the foundation of good business and happy customers.
Thank you so much, Kristof, as well from our side. It's just, behind technology, behind companies, there is people. It's just such a pleasure to work daily with you and your company. You're such a loyal partner. So we are as well extremely happy, and we are going to celebrate together this 10 years partnership. So again, thank you. Thank you for your time today. It was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kristof.
Thank you. That's it for this episode. This episode of the Resilience Podcast was brought to you by Pronovix. You can learn more about our company at pronovix.com, and thank you for listening.